kind of just what changed offensively for you there in the second half of that baseball game?
Oh, I think the at-bats were pretty solid going into that, but we were able to kind of piece some things together. And I think when our guys, each year, each team's got their own little different style. And I think when this team is relaxed, it allows them to be true to who that they are. And, as the game got on, I feel like our team actually got loose. It works out the opposite way very often. Again, regardless of the scoreboard, as the game goes on, guys seem to get tense. But our guys seem to be more and more into it and more loose as the game went on.
I've put a lot of faith in Christian Scott over the years. Just how rewarding has this last month been? He's kind of seemed to hit a stride.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't say it to him, but his old teammates, and I have texted back and forth a bunch about him. And you'd like to think the world is fair and you get what you deserve, but it doesn't always work out that way. But I think a kid who's really matured a lot and has always done what we've asked of him, and he's relishing in the opportunity to be out there every day. And the cool thing is he's not trying to be a superhero or do too much. He's just playing his part because we've got a pretty good setup with our 10 guys we use consistently and then the other guys that are available. Good sign that we may have KT back. So if everyone just kind of does their piece, you put that into one big puzzle, and it's not a bad puzzle.
How big was that fifth inning where Lindsey gets into the jam, but you call in some guys from the bullpen come in and get out unscathed?
Yeah, I mean, the guy, I think it's never easy no matter what's going on, but our team, their team's dealing with all kinds of stuff this time of year. And Lindsey had some congestion issues like everybody that's in America right now, probably with pollen and everything. And then also just some tightness in some areas. So the fact he got us to that point was rewarding for us. And, again, anytime I go out there, I can feel his energy. He wants to stay in the game because that's a competitor he is. But hand the ball off to the next guy, trust him. And Kirby did a nice job in a bunt situation. And then after that, Cam came in and, did a great job. I mean, that was a dangerous situation. It's a good lineup. They obviously can cause damage 1 through 9, but, the table setters had got on and we were able to wiggle out of it.
Another day where Hunter Inslee's got his fingerprints all over rallies, albeit in kind of a painful way today with by pitches. How big has he been over the last 6 weeks being a catalyst for you offensively?
Yeah, it's been huge. I mean, he makes 2 sliding catches in the outfield too. So I think the form in which he's become a catalyst, I've said a few times to the media, is just being himself, being that personality that he is. I'd like to focus on my answer, but these guys are knuckleheads. Just because we won a game, they think they can try and distract me. There's tomorrow awaits. But the kid is a tough kid, and like Cal, both those guys have added a hit by pitch to kind of our repertoire on offense where we didn't have that. We didn't have bunting. We didn't have good base running. We didn't have aggressive things going on early in the year. And now it's an offense where you say, we got about a multitude of ways we can have success, I guess.
What's Christian Moore doing differently these last 4 games compared to the 2 to 3 week stretch, I guess, before that?
Well, normally when something happens physically and you're a little out of sync, you can maybe start to create a bigger monster there or something that's not really there. And I think his frustration just caused a little bit of a downward spiral, which it's hard as a baseball player. There's a lot of repetitions, so when it's not going well for more than a few in a row, that can happen to these kids. They get frustrated. But once he kind of shed that frustration, got in the cage, got to work a little bit, and then just kind of started playing, I believe, on that Sunday like he did against Mississippi State, with that loose attitude. Again, our guys have their own personality, so I don't think he's ever going to be as goofy as Blake Burke. But it is nice to see him have his intent focus, but at the same time, relax and play a kid's game here.
Do y'all anticipate Inslee being as good defensively as he's been?
No. Don't tell him I said that, but he's worked hard at it. I mean, now it kind of comes easier to him, but he's worked really hard at it. He played the infield. He kind of played all over. He played a lot of football. Because of football, he had an arm injury. He also had a hand injury at one point with us. So being a guy from, not necessarily in the deep south as far as baseball reps adding up, he just needed reps. But to make him count, you got to have some intent behind him, and he's definitely got that, and it's nice that he's stacked a bunch of those and he's become, more than just a good defender.
2 more guys. What do you like about Cal Stark? He's obviously getting more consistent playing time, but especially behind the dish, made a couple nice plays tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we work on that pop-up, but you can't simulate that deal where it's so high in a tough sky, and it's kind of in the perfect spot where not anyone else can get there, but he's got to go. I mean, it was chaos, and it was a big part of the game. and a really good hitter. So taking charge, and a lot of guys on our team have started to take charge, and instead of like in the fall, well, Gilbert, Russell, Beck, these guys aren't here, I got to be a leader. They've just started to take charge of what their situation is. So if I need to be good at bunting or I need to be good at umpire rapport, as Chuck and Cal have done, Dickey getting good and left, whatever it is, just take charge of your situation. And that's what he did on that play, but also that's kind of what he's done in various ways and made him a strong personality in our lineup.
I know you mentioned Lindsey is dealing with some congestion, but what did you see from him just battling, not having his best stuff? But
yeah, it was.
The battle?
You don't want to, put a premise out there so much, that it happens. I mean, I don't know how much there is to that book, The Secret, but you don't want to keep saying something. We had to discuss it, and I'll be dang if he doesn't go out there and kind of not look like he's looked himself the last couple weeks, because he's been in a nice little rhythm. But then as he does, he kind of gritted it out and got. The more competitive the situation, the better he competed, and he got us into that middle part of the game. So that was huge, because it's a long weekend for everybody in this league. Is playing 3 games. So for him to eat up as many outs as he did and put us in the situation he did was huge.